It is 9 days to the presidential and parliamentary elections. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to JoyNews Today. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, across all our social media handles. We are JoyNews on TV. In our top stories this hour, Majority Leader criticizes the Speaker of Parliament's decision not to reconvene Parliament to deliberate on 22 urgent government matters, describing it as an act effectively that holds the state hostage. We have an exclusive interview with Alexander Afenyo-Markin here on JoyNews Today. Also coming up, presidential candidate to sign peace accord today. We'll hear from two major political parties and some stakeholders. We also have business news, sports news and showbiz in this package. Please stay for details. In us, we are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. My name is Faustina Safum. We start with the Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, because he has criticized the Speaker's decision not to reconvene Parliament to deliberate on 22 urgent government matters, describing it as an act that effectively holds the state hostage. He expressed concern over the implication of this decision, arguing that it obstructs critical legislative processes and jeopardizes the smooth functioning of government operation. While the Speaker, Alban Babin, in declining the request to reopen the House, acknowledged the parliamentary calendar accommodation of election campaign periods, stressing its significance in Ghana's democratic process. The Majority Leader finds the Speaker's reason unacceptable in this exclusive interview with my colleague Elton Bobe.
You remember we recall Parliament. Government did all that it had to do. We came in and he adjourned Parliament in a day. You remember that in June, without any provocation, we had government business to do. He said he had received a letter from Jubilee, and because of that, he read a statement virtually insulting the president, and after that, he gavelled and shut Parliament. I mean, you are in the media, you know all of these. So I don't want to talk about whether he would come European Parliament or not. I leave it to his own judgment. But I am saying that with all that we've experienced the last 4 years, never again. We shouldn't make that mistake again. MPP candidates should work hard. The thing is about hard work, determination, resilience, explain, and go for victory because momentum is on our side. That is all to it.
So for now, the request for a recall is closed, at least until after the elections.
I cannot force him. I would use constitutional means. If he shut the door, it's up to him. But I can tell you that for the next 1 week, we'll focus on our elections with a determined mind to win and win well for Parliament and for our flag bearer, so that if they are still being difficult and acting undemocratic, we know that we have a government in waiting to implement these important policies.
We are indeed your election headquarters. Well, later today, the presidential candidates will sign the peace accord. The peace agreement will bind candidates to uphold peace before, during and after the elections, committing to conduct themselves and their campaigns in a manner that promotes national unity and stability. Well, we know that the National Peace Council is convening a meeting to ensure that this is done. We've been engaging the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustafa Gbande, and the national organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party, Henry Nana Boakye, on the AM show.
Peace process is very crucial to our coexistence, and that politics should not be the grounds on which society should divide. An election should not be a platform for bloodshed. It should only be and only a place where we demonstrate and exercise our rights to choose and select and participate in the process of government building. And so the NDC believes that there should be a peace process.
Right.
Now, going into it, we have stated clearly that because we have scars of the past, We believe that there have been some sort of injustice that the NDC have suffered, particularly in 2020, where we lost 8 people avoidably. And subsequent to that, we believe that the handling of the matter have not been the best in terms of getting justice for the people who have, who were behind these atrocities. We stated those positions. We also indicated that the Electoral Commission remain the biggest, most important stakeholder in the peace process, because that is the arbiter, if you want to, the referee.
We are fully committed to this peace pact, and we've done so unconditionally over the years. However, I was going to associate myself to my brother Mustafa Mande's comment until he made some 2 or 3 unfortunate comments. First of all, this malicious allegations leveled against Honorable Afenyo-Markin that he assaulted a journalist is unfounded, is without any evidence. And then he labeling a security personnel as criminal is very unfortunate. You see, these are some of the comments we political leaders should refrain from. Right? So if we are going in for peace, it's going to be in for peace. We expect every stakeholder to play their part.
While on Newsdesk, the former secretary of the Christian Council is also a former member of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong, as well as security analyst Dr. Victor Doke, share their thoughts on the peace pact.
We've done this over the years, and for where I stand, it has made significant contribution to our democratic dispensation. Even though our system has not been the best that we will all want to see, but on the whole, relatively, we have had a peaceful election, and we have been able to protect our nation and our democracy. Some people always look up to their political parties, but they are not the only ones that find. The president of the country was signed Chief Justice, Attorney General, Electoral Commission, IGP, and others. They all append their signatures. The one we did at KNUST, Great Hall, Asante added his signature. Another former president even signed. And it gives us a moral obligation. There are those who always see even the legal side of it. But, you want the trust of the people. And the people are saying, will you commit for purpose of accountability? Will you commit yourself to something that if it happens, things don't go your way, you will use legal processes to pay?
It is all tied to how quickly they pick up intelligence about something being in the offing and then respond effectively and efficiently. Without that, then it means things would escalate, and then they would have no option to de-escalate, but then to engage with force. That is where the problem is. But if they have a system that is robust, as he is saying, to respond quickly and then have preventive mechanisms in place, then you are rightly sure to say that things will not degenerate into violence before they come in. Because when they come in, when things have degenerated into violence, then it will be difficult to employ de-escalation approaches. But then they would have no choice than to engage. I think now the issue is just to drum home, advocate, sensitize about the need for more engagement and violence. But rest assured, yes, we know there are hotspots. There are areas which are classified as the hotspots that may even, result in violence. How do we assess and then address all these issues? So I think once we have a robust early warning system in place, we are rightly sure to say that the responses will be quick enough, will be efficient and effective, and then by and large, the personnel will go in before things degenerate. But however, should in case we have pockets of violence, right, then it means that we will employ the leaders, would employ the security agencies as much as they can to use dialogue and not to use brute force. Because we know what happens when brute force is used against the other party. Then we would have allegations such as what? The state security is being used to intimidate one party against the other, to favor one party against the other, all in a bid to help what? One party win the elections. And this we cannot have.
Well, security analyst Dr. Victor Doke has also been speaking about what security agencies should focus on with just a week to the polls. He's optimistic more engagements and dialogue will do the trick.
It's important with regards to security because it tells or gives the impression that the candidates, those who are leading the various political parties, have agreed to abide by the principles of peace. By that I mean, they will at all times, before, during, and after, adhere to the fact that they won't, irrespective of any outcome that will go against them, not declare or openly incite their supporters to go onto the streets, right, and then cause mayhem.
Let's shift our attention now to the NDC because the NDC parliamentary candidate for Lambusi, Professor Titus Bayo, says he is unfazed by the threat on his life and any form of intimidation, indicating he is resolute in his quest to reclaim the parliamentary seats the NDC ceded to the NPP in the last elections. Professor Bayo has been addressing a news conference in Wa after he was attacked earlier this week while canvassing for votes.
While I was still on the floor addressing the gathering, he returned to the scene. Still very infuriated, our security details monitored him closely and noticed him handing over a gun to one Philip Wonenwo, currently in police custody, who is a son of the NPP polling station chairman in Bucha. The security closed in on Philip Wonenwo before he could carry out any premeditated attack. They apprehended him, seized their weapon, and it was a locally manufactured pistol loaded with live ammunition. And after this, I'll share some images with you. He was subsequently handed over to the police and should be appearing in court in Wa today. Mr. Isaac Bayo, on the other hand, fled the scene on noticing the arrest of his accomplice. He is still at large and on the police wanted list. I call on the media and all well-meaning Ghanaians with information on his whereabouts to provide same to the police to facilitate his arrest so he can face the law. Fortunately, this attack was foiled by the vigilance of our security team. My team and I escaped the ordeal unharmed, though many community members were traumatized emotionally. While it may be early days yet to point accusing fingers, we repose full confidence in the police to conduct a thorough investigation to unravel anybody behind or involved in this plot and bring them to book.
Well, the police has one suspect in custody, Philip Wonenwo, and this morning he appeared at the Wa Circuit Court. Rafiq Salam joins us live with further details. Rafiq, what happened in court today?
The case we just learned that just ended, and then the suspect, Philip Wonenwo, was remanded into police custody for further investigations. But also the other accomplice in the person of Isaac Bayo is still on the run. The police are still looking for him. And so today, that was what really transpired in court. But according to the parliamentary candidate of the NDC in the Lamuse constituency, Professor Titus Bayo, he is saying that he wants the media, he wants all well-meaning Ghanaians to put their eyes to this particular issue, to at least to ascertain, to get the truth, to get to the bottom of the matter, so that the perpetrators of these people who attempted at least his life should be dealt with. And that was what really transpired here at court, or also at the press conference today.
Thank you, Rafiq Salam, for bringing us that update. Well, still on the NDC, the NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama says he will ensure that large-scale mining companies allocate portions of their unused concession for corporate mining by licensed small-scale miners. Speaking during his tour of the Western region, he promised that a future NDC government would attach technology experts to licensed small-scale miners across Ghana. There's more in this report.
On the final day of his tour of the Western region, NDC presidential candidate John Mahama visited Evaluate Jura, Prestia Huni Valley, Amenfi West, Amenfi Central, and Amenfi East constituencies. Key among his message was promoting responsible mining practices among licensed small-scale miners. He reiterated his promise that a future NDC government will ensure large-scale mining companies allocate portions of their concessions for cooperative mining by licensed small-scale miners. He says a future NDC government will attach technology experts to licensed small-scale miners across the country to safeguard the environment and prevent destruction of forest and water bodies.
And so you were quiet, you did and say, assassin, and say, you know. It is our technology, no. You were almost and who named the Ghana. And the NDC are buying bar, send your kind, no.
There's a way to mine responsibly and sustainably without destroying our forests and water bodies. The technology experts are already in Ghana, so if the NDC is elected, we will engage young people who want to go into mining to set up their own cooperatives. When we allocate land for mining, these experts will be attached to them to teach responsible mining practices. We will show them how to cover the pits after mining and employ some of the youth to grow trees in those areas, ensuring environmental restoration. Additionally, we will establish the Gold Board. Just as Cocoa Board oversees the cocoa sector, the Gold Board will oversee and improve the work in the mining sector.
So, baby, you want mine
in areas with large mining operations where companies have acquired extensive lands but are not utilizing them, we will ensure portions are allocated to small-scale mining cooperatives so they can work and thrive.
60 miles square. Omunim say, and ya and juma. Ba, Yebesum, na Yaboa, near the hospital for fair, ewo Pristia ha, said and Baya Pristia, so I didn't to my papi fra.
John Mahama also addressed the issue of election disinformation. He cautioned individuals spreading false information about the election date schedule, stressing that such acts could lead to prosecution under a future NDC government. His comments come on the back of the arrest of a radio and television presenter, Ohinibat Nana Asid, who allegedly encouraged voters to cast their ballots for presidential candidates on separate days during the elections. You should all take note. We are all voting on the same day. The lies being spread that some people will vote on December 7th and others on December 8th are completely untrue. It is a crime to spread such disinformation. If they continue, we are observing all of them, and a future NDC government will ensure their prosecution. John Mahama accused the NPP national organizer Henry Nana Boakye of being among those perpetuating the disinformation campaign.
Lawyer for your Nippon Budi Mraso. Enti Mira Hopa say me share social media.
I was particularly saddened to see the NPP's national organizer, who is a lawyer, perpetuating these same lies on social media. That December 7th is reserved for those voting for Dr. Bawumia. As a lawyer, he should know better. Lawyers are supposed to respect the law and not spread falsehood. He should repent retract his statement and admit that he lied. Let me make this clear. Whether you are NDC, NPP or belong to any other party, we are all voting on December 7th. One day for everyone.
Now lawyer and can't trust her. Lawyer Dimraso. Enti Miss Reno on Sakra. On San Cosasana no and Casso Dintro. And for change, Alan. Yenina year to Abano 7th December.
While still on the NDC, they have assured prison inmates of their commitment to modernize and humanize the country's prison system. The Ashanti Regional Communications Director, Abbas Nuruddin, says this will start with a change of name to Ghana Correctional Service, where technical and vocational departments will be well equipped for training. While he was speaking to inmates of Kumasi Prison when the party assured of increasing the daily feeding rate of 1 cedi 80 pesos to cater for the nutritional needs of inmates. Nana Ojima has more on this report.
Aside from congestion in the country's prisons, there have been continued complaints over the poor feeding of inmates. Due to inflation, the Ghana Prison Service has insisted the 1 cedi 80 pesos feeding grant per inmate is woefully inadequate to cater for 3 meals daily. The NDC reveals its plans to deal with the challenges of the prison system, improving technical and vocational training for inmates to ensure their proper resettlement in society. Ashanti Regional Communications Director of NDC, Abbas Nuruddin, emphasized a decongestion project will be implemented in the prisons if the party regains power.
So there is a need for the feeding grant made to the prisons to be increased so that they can have a semblance of good living. Again, most of the people in there have been on remand without trial for quite a long time. And that for us is an abuse of their fundamental human rights. So there is a need for a certain expedited justice system be put in place to ensure that those that have been on remand without any semblance of trial, to have a fair trial, so that they would know their fate, either they are leaving prisons or they are staying. Again, there is the need for the legal aid department to get closer to areas like this.
The NDC's manifesto states the next administration will encourage community service and other non-custodial sentences for minor offenses. Mr. Nuruddin explains the welfare of the inmate remains a priority the John Mahama administration.
There are some people that have been incarcerated beyond the legal bracket imposed by law. Some people have been given 6, 7, 8 years for common misdemeanors that should attract a maximum punishment of 3 years. So, all in all, we believe there is a need for our justice system to be overhauled.
The Kumasi prisons has 2 polling stations with over 2,000 registered voters. Meanwhile, the NDC has made a promise to improve housing for staff of the Ghana Prison Service while maintaining the Cap-30 pension scheme for them. The NDC donated food items and money to the inmates. For JoyNews, Nana Ojima reporting.
Away from the NDC, voters in the Sujaman constituency are putting pressure on political parties to present clear, actionable plans to address their top concerns, the high cost of living and youth unemployment. Well, in this edition of Constituency Lens, Carlos Coloni takes us to the Sujaman constituency in the eastern region, where the 2 leading political parties, the NPP and the NDC, are locked in fierce debates over who has the better record and plans for the constituency. Here accepts.
Where will this constituency lean in December? What factors are actually influencing voter decision here in the Sujaman constituency? I believe you want to know. And so come with me while we speak to voters to understand the factors that will inform their vote on December 7th.
We the youth, we are suffering from work and then money. We don't have, some of us, we don't have parents to support. So we need them to help us.
Everything is too much. The fare, I mean everything is high. So they need to do something about it.
Here, they are not buying because the economy is very high. The passengers don't have money.
The MPs, if we vote for them and they win, they don't know us.
Oh, the youth employment in this community is very difficult because we only have VRA and the Voter Lake. So it's like if the course you study doesn't correspond to that area, that means we are not going to get any employment.
The kind of nepotism that this government has really shown that you have to belong to a particular circle before you are given some kind of attention. And you look at the basic things. Actually, I've really gone round, especially in Akosombo, and you see poverty staring at your face. You see people are suffering.
Right now, even Kenke, 2016, Kenke was 1 cedi, and we use it for campaign. But now Kenke is 7 cedi, 8 cedis. So I think that if any party that can come to power and then reduce the cost of living, I will vote for that person.
This, you see this thing? It's how much? 5 cedis.
I have 3 kids. Looking at it, the school fees alone is even killing me. They are saying free education, but forget about the free education. The books we buy, the things we buy, it's even more than the free education.
For the past 8 years, I have achieved a lot that the whole district assembly could not match. I have achieved a lot that the whole MPP government have not been able to do.
That cannot be true. That is palpable falsehood. Okay. Look, many of the things that the outgoing member of parliament, Thomas Ampemyako, speaks about are projects that are sponsored by NGOs. And now the people know. Who brought in the NGOs? Look, I'm saying that sometimes the NGOs come by themselves.
Reporting from a Sojaman constituency, my name is Carlos Caloni.
Well, the full piece airs on JoyNews this evening at 8 p.m. Do make a date. The Ghana Federation for Disability Organization has made a passionate appeal for peaceful conduct of the December 7 elections. The Federation insists persons with disability are the worst affected when war and chaos erupts. Leadership of the disability community wants assurances they will be safe when they step out to vote on election day. Here's more in this report.
Salient issues bordering on the accessibility and safety of polling stations for persons with disability took center stage at the National Commemoration of International Day for Persons with Disability held in Kumasi, recounting fatalities that characterized the infamous Techiman South and Ododo-Diodio constituency election in 2020. President of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organization, Joseph Achu Homaji, demanded assurances that no person with disability will fall victim to violence in the pending elections.
Safety and security of our people at the police station is very, very paramount, very important, because if there is violence at the police station, our people cannot run away. Somebody who is using wheelchair, somebody who is visually impaired, how can you run away if there is violence? So we are appealing to them that they should make sure that the police stations are safe for us so that we can have our voting peacefully and go back home.
The theme for this year's events, amplifying the leadership of persons with disability for an inclusive and sustainable future, bears significance as Ghana prepares to elect national leaders. The commemoration afforded the Electoral Commission an opportunity to explain extensively measures adopted to cater for the peculiar needs of persons with disability in the special and general elections. Ashanti Regional Director of the EC, Francis Osei Nsia, reiterated the commitment of the Electoral Commission to ensure the full participation and safety of voters with disabilities in all polling stations across the country.
When you come, the system or the machine will clear you, although indeed you are the voter who has come to the polling station, by placing your fingers on the device. So what about someone who hasn't got their fingers? Then we also try that we'll take what you call facial recognition. What about that one's also failed? Then we'll go the last stage, which is manual verification. We'll make sure we'll fill form for you so that you cast your vote and leave. Then what DPI people call priority, prevention treatment, is the policy of the commission that anybody who is in this class, this bracket, come to the polling station and we should be given priority. He should not join the queue. So we want to assure you that on December 7th, we'll give you all the protection you deserve.
The Champim Hene of Asantia Sokore, Nanao say Apia Kubi, who chaired the commemoration, warned politicians against acts and inflammatory comments capable of breaching the peace of the country.
I will just entreat all Ghanaians to be mindful of our utterances, our speech, because an iota of a word that will come out from your mouth, if you don't take care of it, it can cause a great harm. So as we are approaching this election, I want Ghanaians to be careful before, during and after the election.
You're still watching JoyNews Today. We'll be back with business updates. Please stay tuned in.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. More financial institutions are accepting movable assets as collateral for loans. That's according to the third quarter collateral registry report released by the Bank of Ghana. Yes, more.
It's a departure from what often happens in the past when it comes to collateral for a loan. This is because financial institutions used to depend on buildings and land as collateral for loans. However, it appears challenges in disposing these assets when people default have now been a major challenge for these financial institutions, hence their decision to fall on assets that can easily be liquidated. The collateral registry showed that individual borrowers constituted the largest recipient of the secured loans, representing a significant jump from what was recorded in the same period for last year. It also emerged that patronage of the collateral registry has picked up strongly for the third quarter of this year.
All right, turning to other stories for you this afternoon. The Ghana Consulting Engineers Association is calling for a holistic approach in addressing Ghana's developmental challenges. President of the association, Engineer Magnus Leslie Lincoln Kwashi, urged the respective governments to build resilient cities for sustainability. He spoke to Joy Business at the 7th annual conference of the association.
The theme, Sustainable Urbanization in Ghana, Building Resilient Cities for a Better Life, focuses on a critical need to develop urban spaces that can adapt to rapid population growth, environmental changes, and economic demand. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the association, Engineer Magnus Lincoln Kwashi, said government should explore strategies for promoting resilient, inclusive, and eco-friendly urbanization.
So many people live outside the capital, but they do business here. So what it means is that we need to be able to put in place systems that is able to manage the growing population, which impact on our daily lives. And so it is important to ensure that there is balance between transportation and land use. And we have to do this sustainably. What it means is that we need to be able to do this in a way that we are able to minimize the impacts on the people who live within the city. And I think at the core of this is that we need to promote what we call the quality of life of our citizens. How do our people live? You know, how do our people travel? How do our people have access to water? How do our people have access to education, health, and all of these things? And so sustainability broadly covers the entirety of what we offer our citizens to contribute to the quality of life.
On this spot, former Chief Town Planning Officer Richard Akwa Harrison emphasized the need for sustainable planning to balance modernization with cultural preservation, including investment in green infrastructure, affordable housing, and efficient public transport systems.
You don't plan by committee. You don't do what we are going to do by a committee. You set up, you give it to a consultant, or you set up a multidisciplinary task force for them to actually do it. You don't organize a committee and we do it by committee. So after the first meeting, I quit. Oh, and Asaite was there, and Frank Taki and all these over there, CNK Boating. I quit.
The theme also considers the importance of policy frameworks and community engagement in creating cities that are equitable and prepared to withstand climate risk.
All right, that's all for this segment. Sports is up next.
Time now to bring you sports here on Joy News Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Former Black Stars physiotherapist Professor Jonathan Korte has revealed that the Ghana Football Association President Kate Okreku had directed the football governing body to ask him to join the Black Galaxies instead of staying with the Black Stars after Ghana's failure in this year's African Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Speaking in this edition of Prime Take, he says that though he believes he gave off his best as physiotherapist of the senior national team, he does not understand why the GFA president directed that he should go and join the local Black Stars instead.
Okay, well, I think shortly after the AFCON, the technical team was dissolved. If you all remember, the entire technical team was dissolved. So when it was reconstituted, I was not included in the current technical team. I'm told that the president has asked that I should be reassigned, the president of GFA, I should be reassigned to the local Black Stars. So as we speak, I'm supposed to be with the local Black Stars.
But why are you moving from Black Stars to local Black Stars? Any reasons given?
Anyway, no reason was given to me, so, and I cannot explain. So probably
you didn't do a good job at the Black Stars Award.
I think that would best be answered by whoever said I should be redeployed. I don't know. I mean, maybe there was a reshuffle or they needed to do something. I don't know. But I was called and told that the president has directed that I should be.
You were called verbally. You have not been given a letter reassigning you.
No. I was called by somebody from the GFA that the president said I should be reassigned to the local Black Stars, and they wanted me to know because I think the list was going to be made available within that period. So I was called and informed. So currently I'm physiotherapist for the local Black Stars.
But they've been camping. But I just need some further clarity. When you were going to the Black Stars, were you given an appointment letter?
Well, in 2020, when I was appointed, I was given a letter. When we went into the World Cup, Chris Hutton and Otto Addo insisted, so we actually wrote and signed a formal contract with the GFA for that period. So, well, as far as I'm concerned, there's been some paperwork regarding my presence within the Black Stars. But I'm sure if you ask these questions to the people at the GFA, they'll give you better answers because I actually don't have answers. So if you ask me these questions, it will be a bit difficult for me to answer. What I know is that I was called and told that I've been reassigned to the local Black Stars.
And from where you sit, did you do a very good job at the Black Stars?
I'm confident that I did a good job. I mean, we got results that were necessary. I mean, there were some injuries that I could make reference to. There were some knocks, like I said, we have knocks, aches and pains. Then of course we have major injuries. So those knocks, aches and pains that came as a result of being in camp were well treated by the medical team, including me. I don't know maybe if I did something untoward that has not been mentioned. But like I said, I mean, I think the best person to give answers to this question should be the the GFA.
It's okay for you to sound political, I understand.
I'm not being political. I don't have, no, I was called and told. So if I had all the reasons before me, I'm sure I'll make them known to you, to be very honest. But I don't.
Professor Jonathan Korte is our guest next on Prime Take, and that is tomorrow on the AM show at 7:20 AM, on Saturday at 7:30 PM, and then on Sunday it will be repeated at 11 AM. Head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. We appreciate your time.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Ansama Yabua. Well, to our first story, Ghanaian broadcaster Kofi Ochirodako has hinted at producing and releasing a music album before he turns 50. He mentioned that music has always been his interest and is looking forward to recording his own album. KOD was speaking in an interview on Joy Prime's Changes show with Rosalind Fairley.
we're looking at getting back there. I got a call last week from Nana Kwame. Remember Nana Kwame?
Yes.
You know, he called me last week. He's in the UK. He called me, he's like, Charlie, big bro, you know, I've been thinking, I think we should do one last album together. And Kwame Yeboah has actually told me that I have to age 50 to record my album, otherwise I'm done. And he's the one producing the album. So I'm 46, so I have 4 years,
4 years to go.
Right?
But are you
Maybe
going to
3
bring
years.
it out?
Oh, well, definitely.
Definitely.
And it's going to be one very eclectic album. My album is going to be one that has a bit of reggae because I love my reggae.
Yeah.
Higher life because I'm high life, you know. Gospel music, like different.
Gospel music?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you know, like a bit of everything.
Well, away from that, under the glare of stage lights and the weight of public opinion, Ghanaian musician Afenyo-Markin is choosing authenticity over allure. Despite facing pressure to adapt a more wild persona, the Akokwa hitmaker is standing his ground, refusing to compromise his values, even when some have suggested that drugs could be the secret to boosting his confidence and stage presence.
The Akokwa hitmaker has opened up about some rather dubious advice he's received since his rise to fame. Speaking on Hits FM with Andy Dosty, Safo revealed that people have suggested he use illicit substances to go wild and boost his confidence on stage, but the singer isn't buying it.
As for that what you said, people have actually recommended that, like, that I should do some of these things and then so that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So say you should do some drugs.
Yeah, so that I'll go wild on stage and all that.
Wow. And what's your response to that?
No, I won't be doing that. I don't think I can do that.
What's that take?
No.
But back in the day when you were in school, were you influenced to try any of those?
Oh, no.
But Safo isn't letting the negativity dim his light. Instead, he's focused on growth. So, while Afenyo-Markin may not be the loudest or wildest act on stage, he's proven that staying true to yourself is the real performance worth applauding. Jacqueline Ansamayaboy's report, read to you.
Well, that's a wrap for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Sama Yeboah. Over to you, Faustina Safo.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for bringing us showbiz. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Some top stories there. Political parties set to sign peace pact ahead of election 2024 today. My name is Faustina Safo. Good afternoon.